Hey guys, welcome back to another Tailgate Talk. Today we're going to be talking about Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, two of the world's most renowned rappers who never lived to see the age of 26. I'm just kidding. Actually, what we're going to be talking about is some things to look at when you're looking at buying a vehicle, whether it be a new vehicle or a used vehicle. I do a lot of these same checks each time, and Monica just looked at me like, what in the ever-living crap are you talking about? So we're going to get set up and we'll come right back. Okay guys, so like I said, today we're going to be doing just a rundown, a list of some checks that I do whenever I'm looking at a prospective vehicle purchase. I do these checks whether it's a new vehicle or a used vehicle, private party, whether I'm going to a dealership, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm doing pretty much all these same checks. But a little bit of house cleaning before we dive deep into it, because this is a long one, so I'm going to try and make it quick. This video was inspired by one of the viewers, Mr. Jay Bartrug. He's in the group, he's pretty active. It's not the topic that he requested. I got your topic, Jay. It's just what you requested is a big one, and I want to be able to do enough research on it that I give everybody all the information that they need. I'm not actually sure at this moment that it's going to be a tailgate talk because it's going to be a longer one, but I did get it and we will get to it. There is an announcement that I'm going to put at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Watch all the way to the end. But first things first, when we're looking for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, a new to us vehicle, whatever you want to call it, we want to know what we want exactly. And I don't mean so much by brand, you know, I don't mean like, do I want a Chevy, do I want a Ford, do I want a Ram, anything like that. It's more about, you know, what do you want as far as like a style? Are you looking for more of like an SUV because you have, you know, a family of 5? Are you looking for like a pickup truck because you want, you know, a little bit of utility? Are you looking for like a van style setup? So first you need to know what you want, you know, as far as that. Then you need to know what you need. You know, and that's where not even so much brand specific there either, but we need to know, like, are we towing? You know, what are we towing? Are we towing a fifth wheel? If we're towing a fifth wheel, then an SUV and a van are pretty much out because we're not going to be able to tow a fifth wheel that way. You know, how much weight are you looking to tow? How much, you know, utility are you needing? Like for me, I do a lot of stuff on the weekends, so a pickup truck is more conducive really than an SUV is. You know, things like that. After that, you want to move online. Start looking around online, looking at local dealerships, looking at Craigslist, look at Auto Trader, you know, look at all the various different sources. Look at Facebook Marketplace if you're on Facebook. And start getting a feel for what's out in the area and what the prices are. After that, you want to go to Kelley Blue Book. Now, take what you find on Kelley Blue Book sort of with a grain of salt. And take what you find online with a grain of salt too, because in my area, a pickup truck is not worth what it is in other areas. So say California, for example, a pickup truck is not worth as much money in California as it is in North Carolina. In North Carolina, pretty much everybody and their brother has a pickup truck. Everybody and their sister has a 3/4 ton pickup truck with a diesel in it. So diesel engines in my area are incredibly expensive. Now if you go over to California, where property tax is different, registration is different, things like that, people don't want pickup trucks. So just things to keep in mind. Like I said, take that stuff with a grain of salt. It's a good place to start to get an idea of what that vehicle should cost. I know Kelley Blue Book does take into effect your area, but even still, it doesn't allow you to list every single option that's on a vehicle. So, and it is rather subjective. Is one issue that I do have with Kelley Blue Book is the fact that they do this like good, better, best kind of system, or I forget what they name it exactly, but it is kind of subjective, you know. I mean, like how much value does a door ding really take away from a vehicle? I mean, it's really hard to say. So, but it is a good place to start. Kind of leads us to our next one. So you've found your vehicle that you want. We're going to say you found it at a dealership. And you're going to go out and take a look at it. So go out to it. I usually tell the salesman to get lost. I'll find him when I'm ready for him. And I want the time to really look that vehicle over. I'm going to go over every inch of the outside of that thing. I'm going to look of the body of the vehicle. I'm going to look for dents in the doors, rust anywhere. Look for bubbling paint. Bubbling paint is a good sign that there's rust and it's been poorly repaired. Somebody just painted over it. Look for differences in color in the paint. It could mean that it was repainted. Typically, a dealership's going to give you a Carfax report on all this stuff, but I want to know either way before I go and talk to the guy. One thing especially to look for is anywhere that two panels come together. I can give you a good example on a pickup truck is where your bed meets your cab. Typically, you can stick your hand in there. You can get a couple of fingers behind the bed there. Feel back there. If you feel like a little line, a little bump or anything like that, that's most likely a tape line from the vehicle being repainted at some point. Feel back there for any kind of orange peel. I mean, that stuff's not going to typically be there on a factory paint job. So these are good indications that something has happened to the vehicle. Check the windows just for cracks and things like that. It's probably not something that you're really going to walk away from the vehicle on, but it could help you during negotiation to get a couple of bucks off of it. Check all the lights. Make sure all the lights work. If you're buying it from a dealership, I want all the lights to work. Even if they don't take money off of it, they're going to go back there and they're going to fix the light. Check your tires. Check the depth. You want to make sure that you have adequate depth so that you're legal for state inspections and things like that. Typically, a quick, easy way to do that if you're unsure is take a quarter, flip it upside down, and put George Washington's head in the tread. Do it in like the center of the tread. Don't do your outer tread, but do it in the center. And if you can see the top of George Washington's head, it's below legal standard, so it needs tires. Again, may or may not be something you walk away from the deal on, but it could get you a little bit of money off, depending on what the tires look like. Also check for uneven wear on the tires. Could be an indication, especially on the front tires, could be an indication that there's something wrong with the suspension. Maybe it needs an alignment, maybe there's a strut or a shock that's failing. Things like that are all going to be indicated on the tires, excuse me. Look at the back tires too for uneven wear and stuff like that. People get a little crafty and they'll put tires on the back thinking people are only going to check the front ones. So, cover all your bases. After that, if you can, if the vehicle's open and the salesman's still off getting a cup of coffee, check the interior. Sit down in it. If you got like a musky odor or anything like that, it could be an indication that there's a water leak somewhere. Look at the headliner for signs of water stains, things like that. I always pop the trunk if it is like an SUV or a sedan or something like that. And what I'm looking for in there is oil stains. If there's stains of oil in there, it's probably an indication that somebody's been keeping quarts of oil back there because it runs low on oil periodically, which could indicate some issues with the engine. That's probably about all you're going to be able to do before you actually have to get somebody to give you the key to the car. At that point, I know the dealership will tell you, oh yeah, go, wait here, I'll go get the car and bring it around front for you. I don't do that. Couple of things. I want the vehicle to be cold when I check it. I want the engine to be cold. The reason for that is if there's issues with the rings or lifters or any internal engine issues, if the engine's warmed up and they start it up for you, it may not smoke initially. If it's cold, it's probably going to smoke. That's also why I'll walk out to the vehicle with the guy and start it up when he goes to start it up and pull it around, because I want to see what happens when he starts it. I want to hear how it sounds. Does it sound labored, like the battery might be getting ready to need to be replaced? Check your gauges. Make sure that check engine light comes on when you turn the key on. All the lights on the gauge panel, gauge cluster should come on for about 5 seconds when you turn the key on, including the check engine light. They should all go back out when you start the car up. I've seen before where people actually pull the check engine light, they pull the bulb physically out so that the check engine light can't come on. You're not going to typically find that on newer vehicles because they're LED, but I mean, it's possible the check engine light's been on so long that it's burned out at this point. So check that. After that, you know, take it for a test drive. You want to feel, leave the radio off when you test drive it. You want to hear the engine, hear what it sounds like, listen for any odd noises. You want to feel for any vibrations, any shimmy in the steering wheel, shaking, anything like that. That's not an airplane reference either. You actually want to see if you have those things going on. That's a reference lost on younger viewers, I know. After that, bring it back, shut the engine off, pop the hood. I check under there. I want to be able to see daylight under the hood. You know, I want to be able to see the ground. That's one big thing on mine. Because I work on my own vehicles, I want to have enough room to work. Check the hoses belt, see if they look worn or anything like that. I check all the fluids that I can. I know more and more vehicles are going to the serviceless transmission, but if you do have a transmission dipstick, I'm checking the transmission fluid. I want to see it nice, bright pink. You don't want to see brown or black or anything like that. That's an indication that it hasn't been serviced properly and that the clutches are worn out. Check the oil. You should have like a golden honeydew color. It shouldn't be black. Brown is okay, but it's an indication that it probably needs to be changed. Power steering fluid, usually you can just check that on the side of the reservoir. There should be a couple of hash marks on there for you. Same thing with your brake booster. Things like that. Look at the radiators if you can. Some of them are kind of boxed in and you can't really see them anymore. But you want to see, if you can, that the plastic ends on the radiator are okay. They're not cracked, anything like that. Check the radiator fluid. It should be either green, orange, or purple. If it's not, it needs to be changed. Again, on batteries, if it's a maintenance-free battery, there's not much you can do on it. Check to see if the terminals are corroded, see how they look, things like that. Look around under the vehicle if you can without getting too dirty. I usually carry a flashlight with me, peek around. Also carry a pad and a pen, that way I can write some notes down. But check around under the vehicle, look for excessive signs of rust, things like that. Any grease shot anywhere. It could be, check behind the drive wheels, not the drive wheels, the steering wheels. And if it's got CV axles on the front, it could be an indication, or check for grease there, because you want to make sure that you don't have a CV boot that's gone, because you're going to have to replace a CV axle if that's the case, and that's a lot of money. Look at the tailpipe. You should have like black carbon. It should be dry, kind of dusty. There shouldn't be any signs of oil or anything like that on it. Again, that's an indication that the rings could be gone in the engine, requiring a lot of engine work. And don't be afraid to bring in a trusted mechanic either. I mean, that's your right as a buyer. So, you know, don't let dealerships muscle you around with stuff like that. I mean, outside of that, I don't know too many more checks that I make. I know that's a lot of information in a really short amount of time. I probably am going to take all this and make it into a checklist and put it in the group for everybody. Other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot more that I really check. I do check a couple other things that are a little less important. Check, make sure that the radio works and stuff like that. Any of the accessories, make sure they work. If it's got four-wheel drive, turn the four-wheel drive on, make sure that works. If it's got heated seats, turn the heated seats on. I mean, go through the thing with a fine-tooth comb. Turn everything on. Turn the air on in the wintertime, turn the heat on in the summertime. Make sure they all work. If I'm forgetting anything, feel free to put it in the comments. If there's anything additional that you guys check, feel free to put that in the comments. I also promised you guys that there was going to be an announcement at the end of this video. Well, we're pretty much at the end of the video, so it seems like a good time. So, we don't have a name, but we will be adding a new segment. It's probably going to be about once a month that we're going to do this. And if you're in the Facebook group, you already know what we're doing and you already know what's going on. But we're going to be doing, having people send in stories of their camping calamities. So we've shared a couple of them of ours on here as well. Guys, feel free to send them in. We're gonna have you send them into our email address for the channel, which is thervingtradesman.com or at gmail.com, and I'll put that right about here. There it goes. I thought it was broken. It'll be right here. There's no dash in the email, but send those in. Really, I'll take anything outdoors related. Really, you know, keep it somewhat related. And if you want to remain anonymous, please put that in the email. Otherwise, we're going to use your name, and once I put it out there, it's out there on the internet forever. So keep that in mind. But other than that, guys, that's all I have. Continue to like the videos, continue to share them. It's growing every day. You guys are doing awesome at that. Keep commenting on them. And as always, stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys on the next video.